Sawasdee krab, good morning and thank you for joining us on Newsline. We're airing live on NBT Radio Thailand FM 88 and NBT World. Today is Sunday, January 3rd, 2016 and you're with me, Surabhai Lautharanarit. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, the Princess Kalayaniwattana Institute of Music was established in 2007 to enable students to follow in Princess Kalayaniwattana's footsteps in acquiring knowledge of the art of music. NBT World correspondent Asamatin Gokgao visited the institute to learn more about the only Thai university providing education in classical music.
Her Royal Highness Princess Kalayaniwattana Gromalung Narathiwat Ratchanakarin was a distinguished member of the royal family. Her Royal Highness's academic excellence and personal dedication to the field of education are well known throughout the Kingdom of Thailand and internationally. And this beautiful white and blue 100-year-old building is part of the Princess Kalayaniwattana Institute of Music. The name Kita Ratchanakarin was graciously given to this historic building by Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sirinthorn. The Princess Kalayaniwattana Institute of Music was initiated in 2007 as a royal project celebrating the occasion of the 84th birthday of Her Royal Highness Princess Kalayani. Her Royal Highness's love of art and music then contributed to her royal vision to educate new audiences and develop an international standard among Thai musicians. Following her royal vision to educate new audiences as well as developing an international standard for Thai musicians through the youth orchestra, community choir, education popular, and audience development project, the Institute aims to create platforms for students, musicians, professionals, and general audiences in order to enhance their musical experiences, create dialogue, and share their love of music.
In terms of international, what we mean is the free ability to converse within cultures, the exchange of cultures, the dialogue of cultures. That's what's important in international.
Starting from 2014, the Institute is recruiting 30 qualified students per year, along with introducing many activities which aim to promote a deeper understanding of classical music with the contemporary context of the world. Following her royal vision, the Institute's goal is to be a leading international conservatory of music, with the Institute's mission being to develop young talent, creatively design curriculum to provide opportunities for the students to learn the skill of music making.
The Prime Minister has asked all Thai citizens to move past all conflicts and let 2016 be a brighter year for the nation. During his national address on Friday, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha urged his fellow citizens to leave all conflicts behind and steer the nation to a brighter path. On the occasion of the new year, he wished all Thais happiness, success, and a prosperous future. He said the government would seek support and cooperation from all sectors to mobilize efforts to make Thailand a strong country in all dimensions, with stability, prosperity, and sustainability. He also took this opportunity to praise Mr. Ekachai Wankeo, also known as the Penguin Man, who is an exemplary citizen. Despite his physical limitations, he has recently conquered Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak, which stands 5,895 meters above sea level. After reaching the mountaintop, Mr. Ekachai drew a picture of His Majesty the King as a tribute for His Majesty's 88th birthday anniversary. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has reassured Thai rubber farmers of the government's intention to create stability in the rubber industry. According to the Thai Premier, the government's rubber policies are divided into two parts. The first part emphasizes on the main businesses that require rubber, such as car tire production, rubber pipe production, rubber glove production, and processed rubber latex, as well as processed rubber wood. The second part focuses on supporting businesses and sectors like the future rubber plantation project, R&D projects, data compilation, exhibitions, logistics, central markets, and warehouses. General Prayut said there have been two large car tire producers from China expressing great interests in making Thailand their production base for compound rubber production. He has also instructed related agencies to find a way to attract investors, saying the government will provide privileges and tax incentives to facilitate future investments. The government has just delivered its one-year achievement and progress report, which shows its determination to push the country forward. Kun Niranut Traijakwunit has his story.
Thailand is highly regarded as a premier tourist destination and is famous for its fascinating culture. Minister of Tourism, Gopkan Wattanawarangkoon, revealed that tourism in 2015 generated revenue of 2 trillion baht, with more than 29 million visitors, exceeding the government's target.
Maybe in terms of figures, we should achieve not only the number of tourists to Thailand, but also the revenue occur from the international tourist arrival as well as domestic tourism. So the target is 2.2 trillion baht, and we should achieve 2.21 trillion baht. And then we expect to have 28.8 international tourist arrival. Yesterday we achieved 28.9 million already. So by the end of this year, it should be about 29.5 to 29.6 million international tourist arrival to Thailand. But besides that, in terms of quality, the spending per head per day of the tourists to Thailand has increased also about 5%. Last year, about 4,900 baht per head per day. And with this year record, we should achieve about 5,000 baht, 5,000 baht per day, per head per day, which is very important because we are aiming to be quality leisure destination in Thailand.
Admiral Narong Pipathanasai, who detailed the policies conducted by the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, delivered the report on the government's policy on assisting low-income families. The ministry assisted slums and low-income communities by providing shelter to over 4 million homeless families and 2 million families living in unsuitable conditions. In addition, the ministry unveiled its policy to assist infants born in low-income families by providing qualified families with a stipend of 400 baht per month. Meanwhile, Science and Technology Minister Pichet Durongkaverot announced that the ministry had carried out its duties in a progressive manner, in accordance with the government's policy. The ministry applied innovative research to various industries, especially the food production, in order to strengthen the industrial sector. Moreover, the ministry led a leading role in the development of the SME business model, which prepares operators of the ASEAN Economic Community, as the AEC provides opportunities for Thai entrepreneurs to invest in member states and vice versa. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha said that he is pleased with the performance and wanted to see Thailand change for the better with cooperation from all sides. I'm Niranut Traijakwunit reporting.
Meanwhile, a vice president of the National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, has suggested additional ideas concerning the election of senators under the new constitution. NLA First Vice President Surachai Liengbunlerchai said that the legislature has prepared some more ideas about the Senate election that should really help achieve more transparency. Mr. Surachai's comment was heard after the Constitution Drafting Commission had made suggestions on an indirect Senate election from 20 candidates representing professional groups to help avoid cronyism and nepotism. Mr. Surachai said that the NLA has suggested CDC President Michai Rishupan that the Senate poll system should be made more rigorous by adding more elements to the selection process. He added that the presidents or chiefs of all courts and independent organizations should be invited to join the selection committee in order to ensure that future senators will be really qualified and knowledgeable about the vetting of draft laws without being politically influenced. In addition, the NLA has noted that the CDC should be able to better convince the public how its proposed election system will be effective in preventing any lobbying attempts. Transport Minister Akom Term Pitya Paisit has traveled to Phetchabun province to observe the road safety campaign. Mr. Akom has visited vehicle checkpoints and service areas in the province, along with the governor and high-ranking security and administrative officers. The minister and his retinue also gave necessary items to traffic officials. The ongoing road safety campaign in Phetchabun is a collaborative effort by different agencies, including the military, the police, the Provincial Public Health Office, and civil defense volunteers. The campaign will be active until January 4th. Local authorities have tightened accident prevention measures during special holidays, as Phetchabun is one of the 12 must-visit cities listed by the Tourism Authority of Thailand and is also among the favorite destinations for vacationers. The number of tourists is expected to reach 2 million this year. Thai and foreign tourists are flocking to Kuha Pimuk Temple, also known as Wat Na Tham, to pay respect to an ancient reclining Buddha and to ask for good luck throughout the year 2016. The atmosphere at the temple has been bustling since the start of the New Year holidays. The place is filled with Thai and Burmese tourists. Not only do visitors pay respect to the ancient reclining Buddha and ask for good luck there, they also come to feed monkeys around the temple with bananas. Wat Na Tham literally means a temple in front of a cave. The cave features an ancient reclining Buddha with a length of almost 30 meters. The cave also contains some stalactites and was in 1986 voted the most beautiful natural tourist attraction in southern Thailand. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. We'll take a quick break now, but before that, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. First among them, to uphold the 3 pillars: the nation, religion, and the monarchy.
ASEAN Economic Community having the same hopes and mutual intentions to create sustainable growth and permanent economic progress within the framework of the ASEAN Comprehensive Investment Agreement. The ACIA exists to facilitate trade and commerce between member nations, as well as to improve quality of people's lives. One vision, one identity, one community.
Welcome back to Newsline. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has urged every Thai citizen to be on high alert, prepare for changes, and seek new opportunities following the formation of the ASEAN community. Government spokesperson Major General Sansern Gaokkamnert said the Thai Premier has asked all people to be equipped with knowledge and skills for changes that are to come after the realization of the ASEAN community on December 31, 2015. In order for the country to improve its competitiveness, General Prayut suggested that every individual improve oneself, be open-minded, and always be eager to learn. Moreover, the Prime Minister said Thai people must improve their English language skills, especially those in the labor market, while noting that the government will provide English language courses as well as skill training courses to Thai workers. Today's special report on ASEAN will focus on labor movement after the opening of the ASEAN community. Let's see how freely workers in one ASEAN country can move to another.
Countries' competitiveness, productivity, and growth depend largely on their ability to acquire and use new knowledge and constantly upgrade the skills of their workforces. Many countries do not, however, have the educational systems necessary to cultivate the kind of workforces they need. And in developing countries, it is common for the most highly skilled workers to immigrate for job opportunities abroad. In 2007, ASEAN member states agreed to fast-track the creation of the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, which is meant to transform the region into a single market and production base categorized by, among other things, a free flow of skilled labor. However, instead of aiming for the unrestricted free flow of skilled labor, the movement of labor within the framework of the AEC is under the Mutual Recognition Agreement, which is MRA, an agreement to facilitate trade in services by establishing standards for mutual licensing or certification of professionals. Currently, there are around 6 million ASEAN citizens working in their ASEAN countries, with the majority of low-skilled labor. The largest centers of labor are Cambodia, Laos, PDR, Myanmar, Indonesia, Vietnam, and the Philippines, while Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and Brunei are net receivers. There are still some challenges that ASEAN countries face in implementing the free flow of skilled labor through the MRA. One is in regulation harmonization, with the MRA still subject to domestic rules and regulations, many of which are highly restrictive. In Indonesia, foreigners are only allowed to hold positions that cannot be filled by nationals. In Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar, and Laos PDR, hiring companies are obliged to ensure that there will be a transfer of knowledge to local employees, and that foreign employees will eventually be replaced by locals. The Philippines also reserves some professions for its nationals. This means that foreign workers still need to understand the target country's regulations before being allowed to work there, even though the MRA has already been established.
moving on to the international front, protesters gathered outside the Saudi embassy in London on Saturday to condemn the execution of leading Saudi cleric Sheikh Nimr al-Nimr. Saudi Arabia executed a prominent Shiite Muslim cleric and dozens of al-Qaeda members on Saturday, signaling it would not tolerate attacks, whether by Sunni jihadists or minority Shiites, and stirring sectarian anger across the region. Hundreds of Shiite Muslims marched through Qatif district of Saudi Arabia's eastern province in protest at the execution of cleric Nimr al-Nimr, an eyewitness said. They chanted, "Down with the Al Saud," the name of the ruling Saudi royal family. In London, dozens of protesters gathered with banners in their hands to condemn the Saudi execution. Nimr, the most vocal critic of the ruling Al Saud among the Shiite minority, had come to be seen as a leader of the sect's younger activists, who rejected the quiet approach of older community leaders for failing to achieve equality with Sunnis. 4, including Nimr, were Shiites, accused of involvement in shooting policemen. But most of the 47 executed in the kingdom's biggest mass execution for decades were Sunnis, convicted of al-Qaeda attacks in Saudi Arabia a decade ago. The executions took place in 12 cities in Saudi Arabia, 4 persons using firing squads and the others beheading. In December, al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula threatened to retaliate against Saudi Arabia for any execution of its members. Priests offering New Year's prophecies from Cuba's Afro-Cuban religion forecast an explosion of migration and social unrest in 2016. Many on the Caribbean island eagerly await the annual forecast from the Santeria religion, which is practiced by millions of Cubans and has its roots in West African traditions brought to Cuba by slaves. This year, the priests, known as Babalawos, predicted outbreaks of migration and social unrest worldwide, as well as an increase in terrorism. The flow of migrants from Cuba increased by around 80% last year as the process of détente between Washington and Havana, announced December 2014, stirs fears that preferential U.S. asylum rights for Cubans may soon end. The Babalawos called for changes in migration policy and a balance between salaries and the high cost of basic necessities. Most Cubans emigrate for economic motives rather than political ones. And that's all for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook or visit our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. And for today, we're saying goodbye with some footage of Southern California polar bears waking up to a snowy surprise. I'm Surapat Lautara Narit. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. สวัสดีครับ